Can you hear me? Hello. Hi, friends. Welcome back to the house with the witch. All right. So, today we are going over chapter 7 again. I was watching the last video. The audio is terrible. And I was considering removing it and taking it down altogether. But I don't know. We're just going to leave it up there and we're just going to try this again. Okay? So if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. If you're here again, welcome back. I am JD, the house witch. I practice tarot. I'm a spiritual practitioner. I heal myself. And I'm on this journey of learning more about the universe, myself, God, everything. And I invite you to come along. Okay? All right. So lately we've been reading the Hermetica, and the Hermetica is an ancient religious text. So it was a group of individuals called the Secret Brothers from this. Hold on, these lights are stabbing me in the eye. There were a group of people called the Brothers of the Mystery School. Yeah, something like that. There was a mystery school in ancient Egypt, okay? That's what it was called, the mystery school. And you had to be invited. And basically, what you would do is learn about sacred geometry, you would learn about frequencies and vibration, you would learn about basically the secrets of the universe. And this was one of the main texts that they would use to build their knowledge base. And this one chapter, uh, individuals would spend a very, very long time embodying, researching, understanding, because there are deep principles in this text. So practitioners and students would spend a very, very long time on just one chapter alone. And every week we're going through a new chapter, which is a blessing thanks to our modern day. All right, so let's just jump right into it. Let's read chapter 7, The Gods. All right, so the gods, the mind of the cosmos, created from fire and air, and the seven administrators who regulate destiny, the five visible planets, and the sun and moon, whose orbits encompass the world and the senses, the celestial powers known by thought alone, are called the gods, and they preside over the world. So let's read that again. So the mind of the cosmos created from fire and air, the seven administrators who regulate destiny, the five visible planets, and the sun and the moon, whose orbits encompass the world of the senses. These celestial powers, known by thought alone, are called the gods. So the elements like fire and air, the seven administrators. I don't know who exactly that is. Who regulate destiny, the seven administrators who regulate destiny, the five visible planets, so the planets directly in the sky, and the sun and moon whose orbits encompass the world, so the orbits that they go around the world, are celestial powers that are known through thought alone. These powers are called the gods. So these folks are referring to these specific powers as gods, okay? And they preside over the world. They are ruled over the goddess Destiny, who transforms everything according to the law of natural growth, creating from the permanent, unchanging reality a permanently changing world. The heavenly bodies are governed by a tomb and from the flows into matter an uninterpreted stream of soul. Matter is like a fertile womb within which all things are conceived. Matter is like a fertile womb within which all things are contained. Matter itself, matter is a fertile womb. So think of a rock. That rock is a fertile womb, bursting with life. And from that rock, other things can be conceived, I guess, right? Matter is like a fertile womb within which all things are conceived. All forms shape matter, and soul energy ceases and soul energy ceaselessly changes them one into another. This process is directed by a tomb who infuses each form with soul in proportion to its standing in the scale of being. The earth is the storehouse of all matter, which it donates, and in return, it receives life from above. Ra, the sun, unites heaven and earth, sending down energy from above and raising up matter from below. He draws life to himself and gives forth life from himself. Ceaselessly. I wish you guys could see this word. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it? Right there? I don't know. Ceaselessly. It's a funny word. All right. He draws life unto himself and gives forth life from himself, ceaselessly lavishing light on all. Ra benefits not only heaven, but even the hidden depths of earth. Unlike a tomb, the hidden light, who is only known in thought, through attentive contemplation, Ra exists in space and time, and we may see him with our eyes, shining, the brightest in the cosmos, placed in the center, and wearing the cosmos like a wreath around him. He lights up above and below. He lets the cosmos go on its way, but never lets it wander. For, like a skillful chariot driver, Ra has tied the cosmos to him, preventing it rushing off in disorder, and his controlling reins are rays of light. The sun is an image of the Creator who is higher than the heavens. Just as the Supreme Creator gave life to the whole universe, Ra gives life to the animals and plants. His material body is the source of visible light. His material body, his body, is the source of visible light. Ra gives life to animals and plants. His material body is the source of visible light. Just contemplate that for just 1 second. Rays of sunshine are the physical manifestation, is the body of the god Ra. In ancient Greece, we know him as Apollo, right? Yeah. In Rome, what is he known as? Helos? I don't know what he's referred to in India or in China. But they're all the same person, or the same entity, the same God, the same essence, the same being. Okay. That's so great. Okay. So his material body is a source of visible light. And if there be such a thing as a substance not perceptible to the senses, the light of the sun must contain that substance. His material body is the source of visible light. And if there be such a thing as a substance not perceptible to the senses, the light of the sun must contain that substance. His material body is a source of visible light. And if there be such a thing as a substance not perceptible to the senses, the light of the sun must contain that substance. If in the universe there's a thing, if there's a substance, if there's a ingredient, if there's a thing that is not perceptible to our senses, the rays of sunshine, rays of light, is created from that substance. Yet, what it is or how it flows, only a tomb knows. The sun continuously pours forth light and life. Ra nurtures all vegetation, gathering the first fruits produced by the power of his rays, as if in his mighty hands, bringing out sweet perfumes from the plants. In the same way, our souls, like heavenly flowers, are nurtured by the light of Atum's wisdom, and in return, we should use in his service all that grows within us. Oh my gosh. Woo! All right, I hope the audio works out better this time than it did last time. Also, I felt like I was just rambling last time. I hope this was better. But what I left last time wanting to say is everything is a god. And if hold on, give me a second. Everything is a god. And this conversation is a little bit broader and wider and bigger than the conversation between Christians and non Christians, okay? When I refer to God, I'm referring to everything, the whole universe, Pangea and the Big Bang at the same time, and none of that at the same time. And we've mentioned before that God isn't specifically a dude sitting up in a castle of clouds on a throne of clouds, looking upon earth, judging everyone's behavior. However, God is a being. God is a vibration. God is an essence. God is a source. God is the thermostat. God is the water spout. You know what I'm saying? God is the nice, good feeling within you that creates and receives. Hold on, there was one thing I was trying to say, now I'm being told to say another thing. Hold on. All right. Because there was something I was trying to say, and now there's something that they want me to say. So give me 1 second. It's just okay. Thoth, Atum, God, what do you want us to say about this chapter? What do you want us to take away from this chapter? What is the underlying message that you want us to take away from this lesson regarding this chapter? Oh my gosh. That God is the one and God is the parts. And the best conversations you're going to have is when you're sitting down with yourself, talking to yourself. That's how it's going to seem. But realize that you're talking to God. You're like, I don't know how else to say it. Okay. All right. Hold on. Now it's making sense. So, gosh, I don't even know. Okay, so there was the Catholic Church, yes. And then there was the Protestant Reformation, and then like the Protestants broke apart from the Catholic Church, and then Christianity turned into two whole sects. That happened in like the 1500s or the 1600s, probably. Yes, right. And a big argument that the Protestants had from breaking from the Catholic Church was saying that the Catholic Church and its traditions and its customs wasn't that different from what the ancient Greeks and the pagans were practicing, because they were still going to an altar, giving their attention to a statue, something, praying to that, asking that specific item for blessings, for are your prayers to be answered, to connect you to God. Okay. And the Protestants were saying that's sacrilegious, that's paganistic, that's wrong, because God is everywhere, God is everything. You shouldn't need a thing to connect to God. And I totally agree with that. Um, and I'm not saying that the Protestant Reformation was correct or any of that was correct, because truthfully speaking, all that was just a power grab. Those were in my. I have a degree in history, and this is just what I studied. All right, it was a power grab, and these were just the excuses that were used to back up the wars and the killing and the the art and all that. And on that same note, or conversely, I don't know. I do think that having like a statue, having like a candle, or having something while you're praying or when you're praying or you're going into a meditative space helps you connect to a specific higher being. Okay? Bear with me. I think that the ancients, like not just the ancient Greeks, but like ancient Egyptians, ancient Indians, ancient Native Americans, the reason why I think they would go out to the sun, for example, and pray, one reason specific is because if you look at the sun as, well, don't look at it, but if you consider the sun as an avenue, as a outlet, as as something to help you fine tune to something else, you can tune yourself to that something else. Between God, okay, so in this situation, there's you, the sun, and God. If you're looking at the sun, technically, the only thing in between you and God is the sun. So if you feel so disconnected from God, maybe look at the sun and try to feel your way to God. I told you, stick with me. And the reason why I think that helps and why that's so significant and why that works is because, specifically regarding the sun's going to give you vitamin D, vitamin C, going to move around your pheromones and your chemicals, create that oxytocin in your body to make you just feel good, right? Um, so how is that not getting closer to God? You know what I mean? And sending appreciation to the sun, like, oh, thank you for relieving the cobwebs in my mind, and thank you for relieving the stress in my body, gets you even closer to God. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're, I don't know, trapped inside, I don't know, I'm thinking of a very specific example because I've been inside for the past few days and feeling very blue and very gloomy. And then I went out to the sun to meditate, and then I mean, I just felt God right away. I was like, oh my gosh, like I missed you. Like, hey, how you doing? Like I haven't talked to you. Like, what's up? So that got me thinking, like, this is part of the reason why ancients gave so much appreciation to the elements, because the elements brings you closer to the good feeling within you, and that good feeling within you is God. Okay? Like, go, like, see how you feel after a swim. I feel wonderful after a swim. I feel a lot more refreshed. I feel a lot more balanced. Like, if there are a couple days that I don't swim, I'm sad. So how is that interaction with that natural element not good? How do I not want to worship water? How do I not want to thank water and pray for it? You know, because not only is it hydrating my body, but it's allowing me moments of physical relief and de-stress and fun. So how is that not getting closer to God? Okay. So I guess I don't know. What I'm trying to say is that, sometimes you do need the rosary to help you pray. Maybe sometimes you do need to sit next to the statue to help you focus on what you're trying to focus on. Oh my gosh, I was trying to talk about my trip to one of the missions one time. I went to this mission in San Diego, and now it's just such a beautiful mission. I love like old architecture and like old buildings like that. And I was in one of like the side rooms praying, and it was just so beautiful. And it's a mission, so it's like a historical land site, so it's a public space. So there were so many people just walking by, but right in front of me where I was sitting, it was just an altar of candles, and then on the wall it was so cute. It was like almost like little acorns lined up and like just like this like pattern, and then right in front of me it was this row of candles painted on the wall. It was these like acorns, and right in the middle where I was sitting was an acorn directly in front of me. And I look up, and it's a painting of the Virgin Mary and Jesus Christ. And the way the frame was set up kind of made me look up even more. And then when I looked up, it was the window. And there was this window with like an arch at the top. And then when I looked at the top of the window, then I look at the ceiling, and it's this ceiling that is like rounded. It has little spotlights everywhere. It looked like stars. Like, it just had me looking up. And I feel like that's the point of all these altars, of all these paintings, of everything that we're doing, to keep looking up, because that's where the heavens are. That is where God is. Like, maybe we have this idea that God is a guy sitting in that castle of clouds judging everyone, because if you want a full picture of God, like, you kind of just need to step back and look up. Like, even if you're indoors and see everything around you is God. But if you want like the most magnificent experience of that, you go outside. Like, go outside in the middle of the night and look up into the sky and just tell yourself that you're not looking at God, and you'll call yourself a liar right away. Because like, there's like, you look up and you think like there's no way that God's not here. You know? So maybe like the ancient Aztecs, for example, one of their main goddesses was the star goddess. They thought that the entire, oh my gosh, they thought that the entire night sky was a goddess who was wearing a cloak, a black cloak made of stars. Or maybe she was a goddess of light, and that she was shrouded in a cloak, and that cloak had little holes in it, and that's the stars. Something like that. But, and the ancient Egyptians have a similar goddess. Oh my gosh. So maybe what I'm trying to say here is, with all this, what I'm trying to say is, if you feel like you need a little bit of proof, or you need um, a little proof that God is real, go out into nature and sit next to something and see if you can identify a good feeling. And from the Hermetica, we've identified that God is a good feeling that exists everywhere. God is goodness and wellness. Like, that's their state of being. And that's your natural state of being, by the way. Remind yourself that. My natural state of being is wellness and goodness because you are an extension of God. You are a copy. You are a creation of God. You have God's essence within you. So by default, whether you're a sinner or whatever you want to argue me, whatever, your natural state of being is wellness and goodness and happiness. Okay? Okay. All right. Anything else? Anything else? All right. Uh, six. What is this? Six of swords in the sideways. Hold on. Let's figure out what that means. Oh, interesting. Okay, so in the upright meaning, this card represents moving forward, embarking on a healing journey. And in the reversal, it could represent difficulties moving on and staying in place. This came out in the reversal. And this is reminding me of, oh my gosh, I referenced God. Oh no, no, we were talking about time. Oh my gosh. God is now. Okay, God is now. If you're looking like where God is right now. If you're trying to remember a time that where God was, God's not there anymore. If you're trying to think of the future and think of a time where God's going to be, God's not there yet. Well, God's probably there already. But where you can find God is in the right now. Okay? In the right now. In one of the chapters, chapter 6 is the circle of time where we talk about time. And in this chapter, it says that creation and existence is kind of hard to argue because by the time you say now, that moment's already gone. The past doesn't already happen and no longer is. The future hasn't existed yet. And by the time you say now, that moment's over and you're on to the new one. So, like, how can you say life is when it doesn't stay still and you can't even really pinpoint it? That impermanence, that intangibility, that I called it limbo, but not limbo. And the reason why I called it limbo was because it's a pause, but I called it not limbo because there is life in it. There's movement, there's creation. It's a moment of pause, but a moment of complete potentiality. Where limbo is a pause with like no movement and no action. So God can be felt in a similar in a through that similar in that similar feeling in that similar field, but is the attribute that has that pause with life within it. Because you can feel God all the time. Just be present. That was fun. Okay, I think we're done. Any closing messages, or was that the closing message? All right. God is everything. God is everything. God is in everything. Maybe you just needed me to confirm that. Yes, my dear. Even though that crystal on your desk isn't moving, it is alive and breathing and vibrating, and it has a soul. Why do you think plants grow bigger when you talk sweeter to them and play classical music for them? Why do you think animals are kinder to you when you talk to them like they have coherence, like they have two cents in their mind? Because they're creation. 'Cause. 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 ' Okay? Treat everything the way you want to be treated. With more than respect, with more than respect, more than gratitude, appreciation. Because that's reverence, that's celebration, that's honor, that's respect, and more appreciation. Because appreciation can be, hey, I don't 100% agree with you, but I respect your existence enough to not want to interfere with what you got going on. Did I say adoration? Appreciation and adoration. Adoration, adoring something. Like, I love your essence. I love that you exist. And I appreciate it so much that I want you to live more. And you know what I mean? Adoration. That's reverence. That's worship. And maybe the trees, maybe the rivers, maybe the ocean, maybe the sun, maybe the clouds, maybe the bursts of wind blowing from north to south and the bursts of winds blowing north to east, that specific, maybe they need some adoration and some respect and some reverence. With just appreciation and adoration. Appreciation and adoration. Because with all that, you're going to cover respect, you're going to cover friendship, you're going to cover unity, you're going to cover wholeness, you're going to cover growth, appreciation, and adoration. And maybe that's how we're able to invite the gods back to earth, by thanking them, by adoring them, and appreciating them. Because what if, and they said it in the book, they said it in the Hermetica, that there was a time where all of the gods existed on earth. And what did we learn the gods to be? Forces known to us through thought alone. So things like adoration, appreciation, things like community, things like respect, things like honor, things like creativity, things like unity, things like chaos, were physical manifestations that lived on planet Earth. But what if we started taking the gods for granted? What if we started taking the burst of wind for granted? What if we started taking the rivers for granted? What if we started taking the trees for granted? What if we started taking creativity for granted? What if we started taking love for granted? And what if those physical manifestations got so fed up that their physical manifestations retreated from the earth, left the earth? That doesn't mean that we can't feel the vibration and the power of it here on earth, because everything in the universe is connected. So if one thing exists in the universe, its vibration is going to exist throughout the entirety of the universe. But what if they just, got taken for granted, or just felt forgotten, or felt not appreciated, and left planet Earth? Because wasn't it a big role for many people to pray to specific gods and beings and parts of the planet? It was. It was indeed. That's why you had high priestess and high priests. That's why you had, the medicine man and the shaman, because the responsibility, the chief, the high chief, and all that. That's why they were important, because they were praying for gods on the planet so they could stay here on Earth. And now, because of that original, let's say, oh my gosh, Well, everyone stopped appreciating the gods. All right, everyone stopped appreciating God. People stopped praying. People stopped thanking the universe. Hold on, I just brain farted. So they left, and oh my gosh, I totally just brain farted. It probably wasn't that important. It's probably just angry. I get very worked up about this. Okay, I feel like these questions were what inspired me to pursue history back in school because I felt like there was just so much magic in history. I felt like it was just the whole explanation to what we're experiencing, and it is, but it's a manipulated story in a lot of senses. And I feel like I didn't really start truly connecting pieces until I graduated from school and started doing this research on my own because I started realizing I'm like, there's a lot of information missing. Like, what the heck's going on here? And here we are. So that literally led me down the rabbit hole to find tarot, to astrology, uh, herbology, and I mean, I feel like I don't know. I feel like if you get into this stuff, you kind of end up just studying it all. But there's so much to study, like sacred geometry, uh, music even is a thing incorporated in all this. Art, of course, as well. But so much. All right, but yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me. This was a lot of fun. I feel like I'm just ranting and rambling now. But this was a lot of fun. Thank you for joining me. I hope the audio works better this time than it did last time, and that the message resonated. Please like, comment, and share. Please let me know if you learned something new. Please let me know if you want me to learn something new or to share something, whatever. Have fun and be safe, okay? Okay. I love you. All right. Bye.